What's up, guys? Welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another versus/storytelling video where I take on the hardest contents in the global version of the game, as well as do a little bit of story time at the end of the video. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the latest LUFENIA fight we've got, which is Storming the Citadel. Basically, this is going to be Firion's LD/BT LUFENIA fight, just to make it simple. So before we do start, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. And without further ado, let's start this video. Alright guys, so we'll start this off with the team I went with, which is going to be Firion, Cloud, and Rude. So, the ideal party composition, or I guess to deal with the orb, let's start with that, is basically you have to use an ability that basically recovers HP. So there's quite a few characters you can really choose with this one. Firion being probably one of the best ones because of his debuff with his LD weapon. That basically will heal the entire party, and that basically, you know, increases the counter straight away. So there's less to worry about if you do have Firion's LD at the very least. You don't need his burst in order to complete it. But he certainly does help. Rude is another one of the characters that basically all his abilities will recover HP, so you don't have to worry too much regarding that timer. There are obviously other characters as well, like Penelo to a certain extent with her EX weapon. I don't really remember if her dance actually increases the counter. I'm not entirely sure because I didn't use her, but I'm pretty sure her EX at the very least will increase the counter. You do have to remember though that it only increases the counter by 1 per healed unit. So the more characters that heal basically with that ability, the more the counter will go up. So like I said, there's a ton of characters to choose from. Just basically any healer unit can you know, pretty much make it a safe run for you. To me, it'll be Firion first and then Rude second, only because of the debuff that Firion has. So that's basically it for the counter. Now as for Cloud here, I brought Cloud along just for the paralysis, just in case. The delay also helps, right? And the launch helps with the the overall damage as well. As for the summon, I actually went with Odin on this one. The main reason why is I thought to myself, there's really no escaping the globated crush if I can't paralyze on time. And the thing with Odin is if you're below 80%, you get a 30% increase in your attack, which is, you know, it'll make your attack at least still reasonable, even though you lose a lot of your buffs or passive abilities. So obviously there are ways to deal with globated crush. HP silence is one of them. Like Arciela is another character that's probably going to be very useful here as well. I gotta say, you know, I actually just thought of that now. Maybe I could have used Arciela and this could have probably been, you know, would have been a much easier run for me. So yeah, she could have probably replaced Firion to a lesser extent, or even Rude or Cloud. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, so HP silence or Kefka is another one, you know, that can definitely work in terms of, you know, dealing with globated crush or their HP attacks, which they tend to do all the time. When you see it all attack and they're floating, that's definitely going to be globated crush plus. And if they're not floating, there's a chance it's Flare Star, which hits like a truck as well. So healing units is definitely a must here, unless you really went for a very, very offensive team composition and you're gonna keep delaying as much as you can, which brings me to the next point. As for your friend support, So initially I tried to get Amethyst Lion, but at the time when I did this, there wasn't an Amethyst Lion ready for me on my friends list, so I just went with Sephiroth. I thought Sephiroth was another way to deal with the increase of the boss's brave. Like when they float and they remove all the debuffs and stuff, they get like a massive brave increase. Like I think it's like almost 100,000, 98,000 or something, something ridiculous. And obviously later down the track they will buff themselves as well. That's why your damage is gonna be lower, so you have to paralyze. And I felt like Sephiroth was a good way to deal with it. As a friend support, you can use his burst, and every time their brave is going to drop to 1, or you can use his EX and drop it down to 1, and or drop it down to 0 and then break them afterwards. So there's definitely a few ways to deal with it. I mean, again, Amethyst Lion will erase much of that brave as well with his crystal idol, and delete turns as well. So there's definitely quite a few ways to deal with this fight. It used to be really scary. These Argent Officiants were a bane in my existence before when they first released, and then when they came back on Agrius's Lost Chapter. I really hate these guys, but right now there's really a lot of different ways to deal with it, and some might say this probably was one of the easiest Lufenias we've had. And I can say that, yeah, they're probably right. This is probably one of the easiest one in terms of just the tick counter. There's a lot of ways to deal with it. There's a lot of ways to deal with the HP attacks, and yeah, honestly, there's really not much else for me to say apart from just keep an eye out on the counter as well. And if you are not bringing a lot of healers in your team, I do highly recommend just keeping an eye out on that turn order, because the timer, the counter, the Lufenia counter may drop to 3, and then you suddenly push them to the next phase, and their turn will be pushed back, and that just means that you have those extra turns again, which is nice. But if the Lufenia orb is about to run out, it's actually not a good phase change. So just keep an eye on that. Other than that, there's really nothing else for me to talk about regarding the fight. Okay, so now let's move on to story time. So like I've been telling you guys this, but it's been really busy at work for me, and I know a lot of my videos are late, and I haven't even been making Exos Heroes videos because of how busy I am and just trying to cram everything. I actually haven't even finished the entirety of the events on the global version. I went ahead and skipped and just went to the hard mode straight away. I'll do the normal mode later. But it's just been crazy, and I've been playing JP, as you guys know now, or if you knew, I do play the JP version now, and yeah, there's still quite a few things to do there. And they recently just released Exodus Burst as well, and we are actually going to get Exodus Lost Chapter, which will probably affect my should you pull on how I might interpret that. But in any case, I do apologize. The videos are late, and I think they are going to be, at the very least, just before events come out. I'm trying really hard to make sure they do release before the actual event. And trying to release these types of videos, so I can show you guys how I've done it as quick as I can. But sometimes it's just very hard for me to, just juggle real life stuff and, making videos. This is, for the most part, almost like a second job, but it is more of a hobby as well. And I do want to say that I really enjoyed my speculation video. If you guys haven't seen it, I say go ahead and check it out. It's my speculation video for the next global first LD weapon, since we're not going to get a global first character. Go ahead and check that out. I did enjoy making that. I pushed myself to make that video happen and release that earlier. I tried to release it much earlier, but yeah, you know. But I really did enjoy making that, and I started to think that maybe I should make more speculation videos. So I want to hear from you guys if you want me to make more speculation videos, and or maybe even make, you know, a whole characters kit for an unreleased Final Fantasy character. Let me know down in the comments below, because I did really enjoy it more than making should you pull videos. Honestly, should you pull videos are now getting monotonous to me, and it feels like, honestly, I honestly feel like should you pull videos doesn't need to be should you pull videos anymore, because whoever comes out in some shape, way, or form, they are going to be very helpful. I noticed this in the JP version, right? Since I started, I've just been pulling and pulling, basically, because I have the resources for it, right? And for the most part, a lot of the characters that I pulled for have been very helpful. So I can't really say like one X character is not worth pulling. It's kind of hard for me to say that now. Although, if you want to compare characters, or like, you know, if you want to compare which one is more worth your resources, I guess you can still do it. But to me, if you have the resources, you know, you might as well pull, because that particular character is going to be very helpful later down the line, or even right now. So they do have their uses, and it's kind of hard to say no anymore. But I still do try. And the thing with comparing characters, I see this in the comments section all the time. They keep, you know, people saying it's a bad comparison. It's a bad comparison. If you listen, you know, I'm just comparing one particular kit. I'm not comparing the entirety of that character. And I know it's a bad comparison because there's really no comparison for every unique character that's come out in Dissidia Opera Omnia. There is no way. I had this issue before where I tried to incorporate in my should you pulls like character that are at least identical to the character that's being featured, and everyone is saying it's a bad comparison. And you gotta understand, every single character here is unique in their own special way, and there's no way you can make 100% comparison for one character to another. And there's always one unique thing about a character. So even though I know it's bad, but I do specify what I try to compare them with. Like, for example, as a healer, or as a tank, or something, you know, as a DPS, or with a debuff or something. I do try to really specify what I'm trying to compare them with, but it's not a full-on character comparison, because it's just not possible. It makes me wonder why I even try to compare. I probably won't in the future, but I know some people would like to hear it as well. Like, you know, as a healer, is Furion better or is Root better? You know, it's all based on my personal opinion anyway. I know that, but sometimes it bugs me down that people say it's a bad comparison. And you know, all I can say is it's just really no way to compare each and every character, and that's just the way it is. Like, that's why we like Opera Omnia, because of so many unique characters and the different kits that they bring to the table. They may be identical with an Imperial or a heal, but they have their own uniqueness to them. So I want you guys to understand that I know most of these comparisons is not a good comparison, but I do try to compare bits and pieces of each character to another one, so you can see, or the new players can see, what they're in for. So that's all I have to say on that regard. But I'm really much more interested if you guys want to do if you want me to do more of the speculation video. I think I am starting to think to move away from the should you pulls, only because I'm not having fun doing should you pulls anymore. Like I said, I had more fun making the speculation video. So yeah, I'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, should you pull is still okay, but I actually have more fun making speculation video, and I might do that, and I hope you guys would like me to do that as well. But sometimes, you know, well, not sometimes, it's most of the time, I would just like to hear what you guys think and what you prefer, because sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, you guys are, you know, what runs this channel, right? I just make the videos that you like, and sometimes I make videos that I like, you know. So most of the time, it's I make these things for you guys, especially the new players. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it, or learn something from these videos. That's all I ever want. The veterans, you don't need my help. The veterans don't need my help. I make these videos for new players. That's my mindset. It always has been, to help new players. I don't make these videos for the vets, because the vets already know what they want to do. They already know who they're going for. They're already aware of a lot of things. But the new players, that's what my target is. If you look through most of my videos in YouTube, it's always been trying to help new players, because I understand being a new player. You know, so yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I'm sorry I rambled on too long, but leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help the channel, and I would really appreciate it if you do. And again, I do apologize for the late videos, but that's just the way it is right now. It's been really hard for me to juggle that. So anyway, yeah, follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. If you have any question, DM me there, and I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. And yeah, this is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.